Does your Jeep make this noise when you start it? Well, this is a common problem, I'm glad to say, and hopefully today we will be resolving this insanely loud belt tensioner whine on my JKU over here. Almost as loud as that crow. But basically I've done some off-roading with this thing. I've taken it in some mud. I've gotten it pretty deep, pretty much up to the headlights. And of course that's not great for bearings, seals, and pulleys that have bearings within them. Now my buddy Mitch, you guys have seen him on my Instagram. He has the sick lifted white JKU with the white painted fenders and black wheels and tires. I believe he went through something very similar. We're not gonna know for sure until I pull off that pulley. But he chased this whine for, I don't know, maybe a month or two. He did idler pulleys, one other thing I think, and then he tried this belt tensioner unit, which is a little bit more expensive. It's like $100 or so on Amazon. It's gonna run you about $125, $200 from an auto parts store. I'll have a link down below, of course. Should be able to just pop out 2 bolts, replace it, and we'll be on our way. But stay tuned with us here and we'll figure it out. All right, so we're now here at FSM. George kindly lent me his lift for the day. We're gonna be doing a whole bunch of maintenance on the JKU, starting with this tensioner belt assembly. And I've taken a look at things. You can access it from underneath, but it's probably gonna be a lot easier to access from up top. You pop the hood here and remove your air box. This should give you a lot of access to your tensioner. And then from there, the airbox should just be friction fit, like so, with a couple rubber grommets on the bottom. Grab our filter, which evidently needs cleaning and replacement. Oh yeah, look at that. And yes, this is probably the best angle to work at your belt tensioner assembly here. This pulley down here should be what's making all of our noise. So I'm gonna put a 1/2-inch breaker bar on, see that little square right there? That little square will accept 1/2-inch ratchet or breaker bar, and then you can turn this to take the tension off your belt. So I'm gonna do that, pop my belt off, and it looks like we have a couple 13mm bolts holding the belt tensioner on. See if we can get enough leverage just with a ratchet here. So that little hand ratchet wasn't really enough leverage. I pulled the rest of the air intake out, and as you can see here, pressing towards the driver's side releases the tension from the belt, and we can pull it off just like so. That takes all the tension off of our tensioner. Now we can remove one 13mm fastener at the top and another down at the bottom. There's 2, and here's our assembly. So this is how it's oriented in the engine bay there on the pulley assembly. This should be the culprit of our whining. Hard to say for sure, but we can check other pulleys as well while we're here. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty shocked at how good a shape this belt tensioner is in. This bearing feels perfectly fine. There's barely any play in it. Super smooth, so I don't think this is the source of our noise, surprisingly, and guess that's a good thing. I can return the $100 replacement I ordered. I think I've narrowed down our noise to the 2 idler pulleys. There's one right here at the top. It's a little difficult for me to show you. There it is. There's a little bit of movement in that, not terrible, but what really stands out to me is this side here. This pulley has a ton of movement in it. Let me try to show you. You can move this pulley back and forth a lot, and you can kind of hear it's just all rattling around. The bearings are shot in that idler pulley. So I'm gonna see if O'Reilly's has one of these locally. I'm probably gonna run down and see if I can replace both of these idler pulleys at once. I'm not sure if they're identical. They look to be slightly different sizes. We'll look it up right now and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so several hours later here, I've done full pads on the car. I also just did a new drag link and tie rod end. But back to the pulleys here. Huge shout out to my buddy Sam for running down to Advanced Auto Parts and grabbing this new pulley. I'll have links down below, of course. But That was the only place we could find one, and there was only one left in stock. Otherwise, I would have done both while I'm in here. But I'll give you guys a little comparison. Here's the old pulley. Here's the worn out part that was causing our noise. You can hear that. Ball bearings are shot, and you can also wiggle this up and down, which is not supposed to do. Our new bearing and pulley, as you can see, doesn't spin so freely. It's nice tight bearing, and it's silent, and it doesn't have any movement up and down. So I'm gonna replace this one that was shot, just put everything back in as it was, torque to factory specs as always, and we'll see if this shuts it up. Alrighty folks, we're back on the ground here. We have the new idler pulley installed here, and I think it's time to see if this resolved our problem.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's power steering pump. No. Imagine, can you imagine if it was power steering pump again?
I'd be so upset.
Now it'll probably take it away. That bearing is cocked. Ooh. Woo!
Hell yeah! Alright, our high idle is just coming to an end here, and this thing sounds great. Oops. But yeah, I gotta hit the road. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you found this helpful. Hope some of you guys can resolve terrible noises coming from your Jeep. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on JD Cars.